Have you ever broken a bone or sprained your ankle? Have you ever been in a situation when it was too loud you couldn't hear something? Have you ever been so tired that your eyes were blurry? Have you ever had a migraine where you were sensitive to light or sound? Have you ever lost a pair of glasses, broke them, or even forgot them? Have you ever had times where you lost focus or it was hard for you to focus on a specific task? Have you ever been in a situation where the power went out for an extended period of time? Have you ever been pregnant and had to get used to your new body and how it functioned and how you could complete tasks in a different way than you're used to? Are you left-handed? Are you short or are you tall? I would bet that the vast majority of you have experienced one of the things I just listed or something similar that has made an interaction be a mismatch for you and make it so that you can't interact with the design in the way that it was initially intended. This makes it difficult for us to complete some tasks. This is what it's like when you have a disability. Disabilities aren't always necessarily considered when people are designing things. It is common for people to tell me, well, we don't need to design just for the few people who have disabilities. My argument is all of these situations and way more would also benefit from including people with disabilities to help improve designs around us. And then these situations will also help with temporary or situational conditions that everyone encounters from time to time. I dare you to tell me that you haven't benefited from text messages or emails, and these were both created initially for people who were hard of hearing. The creators of text and email both had loved ones that they wanted to communicate with, and a faster, more efficient, easy way than having to send snail mail or having to call. Because if you're hard of hearing, you can't talk on the phone, and so how are you supposed to communicate other than a letter in the mail that could take days up to weeks to get to you? And now we all benefit from text messages and emails all the time. I get it. It can be hard to relate to people in situations that we can't replicate ourselves. For example, a lot of people have a hard time understanding what it's like to be blind. That is totally fair. And a lot of people have a hard time with not understanding what it's like to be in a wheelchair or having other types of disabilities. I personally have things I can't relate to. I've never been pregnant, so I can't relate what that's like. I also can't relate to what it's like to be really short or really tall. I'm average height, so this usually works to my advantage. However, I am also left-handed, so there are quite a few struggles that come with being left-handed. For the majority of the time, things are always designed for people who are right-handed, and this can be a little frustrating. There are actually things that I've had to teach myself how to do with my right hand, even though I would prefer to use my left hand. Right now, I'm actually taking a golf course where I'm learning how to play golf, and almost everyone in the class other than one or two other people are right-handed, and all of the instructors are right-handed. So we get a little neglected as the lefties, and we kind of have to teach ourselves how to do everything in the opposite way of everyone else around us. Now, I'm not discounting the value of designing for people with disabilities just as being enough of a reason to consider it in your design. Not at all. I think that it's a great way. Now, I hope the list of situations that I shared with you at the beginning open your eyes to see we can benefit from improving designs for more reasons just than permanent situations. But let me share with you some stats that will help you see that there is actually more people who have disabilities and the need for this to be considered in the design process than you might realize. The World Health Organization, or the WHO, has stated that over 1 billion people are estimated to experience a disability, and this corresponds with about 15% of the world's population. And according to the CDC, 61 million people in the United States are living with a disability, and that's 1 in 4 people, or 26%. Now you might be asking, what's considered a disability? And according to the World Health Organization, there are 3 dimensions of a disability. 1, impairment in a person's body structure or function or mental functioning. Examples of impairment would include loss of limb, loss of vision, or memory loss. The second dimension is activity limitation, such as difficulty seeing, hearing, walking, or problem solving. The third dimension is participation restrictions in normal daily activities such as walking, engaging in social recreational activities, and being able to obtain healthcare and preventative services. Now, there are ways to document and tell the government that you personally have a disability. Sometimes you can get some aid when your disability is severe enough, but this doesn't mean that everyone who has a disability feels comfortable reporting it or has told the government. That doesn't mean that people on the spectrum who consider themselves to have these dimensions where they have restrictions and stuff feel like they need to consider themselves to have disability because they can do most things without needing aid or that kind of thing. It just totally depends on the person. And so these numbers are kind of arbitrary and aren't necessarily set in stone. I challenge you, as you're creating and designing things, to think outside maybe of your own little box and look to see what other people around you could be considered when you're creating your designs. Who's being excluded, and how can you include more people within the design that you're creating? I think that you will find that it will help you to be more creative and think of ideas you didn't even think about before. If you are ready to start considering other people throughout your design process, in the comments below, say, I am ready to consider other people in my design process. I hope that this video was helpful to you and it helps you see the need to consider those with disabilities in the design process. I hope that you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!